This is Jeremy Wentworth-Stanley. I'm the fellow who has a hyphen in my name. The hyphen is silent, but I am anything but that. Today, Sarah Benton, my co-host, and Jeremy Wentworth-Stanley, I am the voice of Respectonomics. And Sarah and I, do something very interesting. We are united. We are unified. And doesn't mean we agree on everything. That is not the issue. But we are, I would say, joined at the hip when it comes to purpose, when it comes to intent, when it comes to identity. And what we want to talk about today, this morning, is literally identity. Excuse me, why do you say identity? Because your identity is part of the puzzle, but it's the unity of the individual we want to talk about. So, with that, Sarah, good morning. Unity, not identity, but both.
Good morning, Jeremy. Well, I think maybe identity is part of unity. So I think
is.
it's all collaborative, right?
Yeah. I love misspoking myself.
But maybe it's not misspoking. Maybe it's intentional.
Well, maybe, because we're going to come on to that as well. No,
Exactly.
I want to talk about unity because unity is from the Latin unus, meaning one. The word community means together as one. So that the whole concept of being as one is in of itself very powerful. The message that Respectonomics offers is designed to be one of a unified approach. We can obviously to me, we can present different aspects of that and different interpretations, but the unity is absolutely essential. One thing I will emphasize and re-emphasize and triple emphasize is that the unity of the human being is summarized by its own dignity. If we have dignity of self, we have a far better chance of having unity of self as well. With that in mind, dignity is so important to the equation of unity. But I want to put two comments about unity on the table. The first one is, Sarah, that unity in and of itself is extraordinarily attractive. You know, when you see a family that is united, when a family comes together, I've seen your family in operation, if you will, and not that you would do it intentionally, but you do it from the standpoint of being together. First time I met you with your parents, there was a great sense of unity. And that in itself is extraordinarily attractive, just in and of itself. Disunity is not attractive. Disunity it's fragmentary. It breaks people apart, almost by definition. And I think it also leads to almost people leading lives of deceit or dishonor. I'll give you an example of that. America calls itself the United States of America. And yet, I don't think we can think of any country in this world, probably, that is more disunited. So in other words, and that needs to be fixed, but disunity under the heading of we are united is one of the biggest sort of lies or deceits that creates even more angst than just the disunity on its own. So it's very important. If I feel disunited, say so. Be clear about it. If I am feeling united, say it, believe it, live it, because unity is very attractive. And what we find with disunity, this is when we get into that horrible negative vortex, the one that says, you say to me, oh, well, this is what happened to me. And I say, that happened to you. Let me tell you what happened to me. So not only do I become competitive with you in a sort of negative way, but also I actually put myself ahead of you, which is really one human being to another. I have no right to put myself ahead of you. What I have a right to do... Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, sometimes I don't think it's intentional when people do that. I think sometimes people think they're being empathetic when they're doing that because they're attempting to show that they can relate to your situation. But I 100% agree that if people pause and think about that, allow that individual to have the space to share that and just park it.
And park it, let it be. Yeah. Wasn't there a song called Let It Be?
Something like that.
I think there was.
Kind of famous.
I thought so too. Just like Respectonomics. But no, the thing is, we've got unity that in and of itself is very attractive. And I think that leadership today, and if you're the CEO and you're listening to this, the unity of purpose, the unity of identity, we talked a little about that before, but that sense of unity is incredibly valuable. When, let's take a corporation, when a corporation is unified about its product, about its services, about its employment conditions, its expectations, its reliance on customers, reliance on suppliers, whatever that united position is, when it's
Mm-hmm.
all brought into one, it is incredibly valuable. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I would love to see a company that would actually point out that its company logo is United We Stand.
It's
I'd just love to
cohesive.
see that. I haven't ever seen a company go out talking about its sense of unity, but it's one of the most attractive things we can do. And also, when you have unity, that is when you're more likely to have the best communication. How can you have good communication when you're disunited? Look at the
Right.
United States today. I'm not taking sides. I'm merely pointing out the two sides are actually very far apart. And they're
Mm-hmm.
very prone to throwing slings and arrows and grenades at each other. If you're united, you're much less likely to do that. You create an ambience or a circumstance within which you can have good debate.
And
And
I say when you're talking about united within a company too, I also equate that to what is the company's culture,
absolutely. This
right?
is you're raising a very important point, very valuable point, and that is one of the difficulties today is that cultural disease almost, and I call it a disease because so many corporate cultures are in fact abusive. They're based on fear. They're based on hierarchy. They're even based on tribalism. They even come out as parasitical. They're
Mm.
working in the wrong directions. When you have unity of purpose, that is when you have that sense of collectivity, the sense of collaboration. I mean, if you think of unity, unity would almost definitively says we collaborate. So why not bring unity to the table and say that is our determined purpose? And as we come into times that I believe, and we've talked about this on other occasions, but I think we're coming into times that are fraught with danger.
Mm.
I mean, I'm talking about, we've got great hostilities in the world. We've got great disunity in the world. We've got people who are frankly very fearful. If you've got these kinds of things, you've got AI coming up in the fast track, which nobody even knows what it means. All of these things. I can't think of a better clarion call for unity than today. And it's a one that starts with oneself. You unite yourself by looking in the mirror and recognizing the unity of the human being is embodied in the body and the mind and the spirit. So you get
Right.
unity of self. When you have unity of self, you are much more likely to project unity to other people. It's very attractive. You become attractive, and your real motives in life become all the more honorable and wonderful. So
Well,
let's
you're
get
lead by
united.
you're it's leading by example,
Hmm. Yeah.
right? So how you're showing up for yourself is how you're showing up for others, and people notice
Exactly.
that.
They do. And you don't even have to write a speech. And something you've said many a time, which is you don't need a label.
You don't
You
need a
don't,
label, you don't
no,
need to be the loudest one in the
no,
room.
no, no. I think our producer has made a very interesting comment. He says that I am the voice of Respectonomics. All that means is I am the one that projects the information. Respectonomics actually belongs to the people.
Right,
And the people need that sense of unity in order for the fullness of all their capacities to come together successfully.
right.
I rest my case.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you, Sarah.